Hey, church family, thank you for joining us for today's Daily Connection video. We are talking about the ruler who cares for his people, and that ruler specifically being Jesus. Brother Brent kicked us off yesterday when Jesus says that he is the good shepherd, and Brother Brent was just kind of describing Jesus as the good shepherd. And today, we're going to look at the very next verse when Jesus begins to describe kind of the other side of that coin. If Jesus is the good shepherd, then why is that important? Why is that something we should pay attention to, him being the good shepherd? So we're going to look right here real quick, verse 12 out of John chapter 10, and it reads like this. It says, "The hired hand, since he is not the shepherd and doesn't own the sheep, leaves them and runs away when he sees a wolf coming. The wolf then snatches and scatters them." Jesus is painting a picture for his listeners. And essentially what he's saying is, man, if you hire somebody to watch your sheep, they're there on an hourly wage. They don't have any care for those sheep. There's not going to be a great repercussion for them if those sheep are lost. They may lose their job, but they'll just go get a job somewhere else, right, with some other sheep. And so when a wolf comes, and they're, I don't know if you've seen a wolf, they're not that small, right? And at times can be pretty vicious when they're hungry. When a wolf comes and decides he wants to eat one of those sheep, Jesus is saying, hey, these hired hands, they're going to leave. They're going to dip out because they're not invested in any way in taking care of that flock. But the one who owns those sheep, he will not leave. He is going to remain because he's invested in those sheep. There are times in our life, certainly, where when we walk through difficulty, people will leave. People will abandon us. And the reason maybe is because they're not invested in our lives. Certainly there are people, though, who don't abandon us in times of difficulty because they are invested in us. They love us. They're not a hired hand, right? They truly care about the outcome of our lives. But there's one who we can actually place our hope and actually place our faith in. One who regardless of what all of humanity does, there's one who will never leave us. And he is the good shepherd, just as Brother Brent talked about yesterday, and that is Jesus Christ. He is fully invested in us, right? He's invested in us in creation because he gave us all that we live in, and he gave us our own life. Scripture says that he's holding it all together, so he's invested in creation. He is also invested in paying the price for yours and for mine sin. Right? He has paid that price. He is fully invested in us, and therefore he is not going to leave us, his sheep. He will never abandon us. Our author gives us a couple of questions that we can look at to kind of walk through that thought and hopefully build some application for ourselves. The first one is, when have you felt abandoned? Is there a time in your life when you have felt like you were abandoned? And then I would just kind of add to that, how did Jesus come through for you in that? Did you sense his presence? When you look back on that circumstance, do you see how even though in the moment you felt abandoned, how he was actually working things out for his glory and for your good? And the second question our author offers us is, why can we have confidence that Jesus will never forsake us? And we've talked all around this. I think it's really clear. He will never forsake us because he loves us, because he's invested in us, because we matter to him. We are not just flesh and bone to him. No, we are beloved by him. And so what a joy that is. And I hope that joy causes you to want to tell others about it, to want to rely on him even more. Maybe some of you even now are walking through difficult circumstances. Trust in the Lord. Rely on the Lord. Man will let you down, but the Lord never will. Trust it and know that he's there with you. Church family, as you do that, we want you to know that we love you and we're praying for you.